This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Dennis Hobson, who is sporting a very nice Fightzone hat, which we'll come on to in a bit.
You'll get one of these if you're nice to me.
Dennis, a big night for you tonight. Sheffield at the Arena car park. Obviously, we've spoken about when you were trying before, but to put this show on and COVID restrictions, etc., kind of scuppered the initial plans for this, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but obviously we did the drive-in.
Yeah.
We were the first in this country to do a drive-in, and obviously we thought we were going to make a statement. We've had to jump through quite a few hoops with the COVID situation, and obviously just to have a bare car park, there's a lot goes into just creating an arena in a car park. You know, when you've got no electricity, water, you've got to get toilets, you've got to create an arena, and that's what we've done again. But obviously we've had a bit of a blueprint. This is slightly different, that we've still got the canopy, but we're having marquees around, and people can sit and cheer instead of having to peep the router while they sat in a car. So there will be some atmosphere. What's your football team, KUGAN?
Arsenal.
Yeah, well, it's quite, if you were here, could there be quite a few here? So you might get scared of the big crowds, being an Arsenal fan.
All right, we pack in 60k a week, mate. All right.
Well, and watching Shite as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's at the moment, I'll go along with that.
Listen, it's all right for you. What about poor old me, Sheffield Wednesday?
No comment.
No comment. Good, man.
Let's talk about the card tonight. Headlined with an English title fight between Myron Mills and Lucas Bellingal. So that obviously headlines your card, but you've got a string of debutants. We know we'll talk about Katie Healy in a bit, but you've got other fights on the bill as well. The likes of Ian Martell, who I've interviewed in the past, amongst others.
Yeah, I think what Jason's done, Jason McClory, who's our head of boxing and matchmaker, he's pulled some great matchups together, and we're working with hand in hand with quite a few different promoters, and Jason's played a big part of that. And it's giving kids opportunities to fight for titles, and whoever comes out on top, we'll help them progress their career, hopefully on this platform, and that's what this platform's all about, and the Fightzone. But the cracking matchups, that top of the bill is a cracking matchup, and I think you've said it yourself, and a lot of people in the industry have said, you know, you can have your world titles, and obviously I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a lot of world titles. Some of the area titles, English titles and British titles are the best of the lot, and I think this fits that bill. Well,
with yourself, Dennis, I always think when you are putting these kind of shows on, you could make things so much easier for yourself in how you're doing it, but you choose not to, and you choose to sort of think outside the box, shall we say, and give yourself complications. But when you pull it off, it's all worthwhile, I'm assuming.
So I mean, I could make it easier, KUGAN. I'll take advice.
Well, you could make the fight night a lot easier for yourself, couldn't you?
Go on, tell me.
I just think you where you're thinking outside the box and you're trying to make it more creative, I just think that adds to complications.
Absolutely complications, but do we wait and wait and wait? You know, these kids sat on their hands. We wanted to launch this new concept, this new TV channel at the right time. We could have waited until maybe September, but you know, you watch the news, KUGAN, and like it's all of a sudden, are we going to be able to relax all the restrictions in June? So what do? Wait and wait. Well, what's that old saying? He who hesitates has lost. So we're having a go. There's always complications, and if it were that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Absolutely. Well, look, when you asked me there, how could you make it easier? Well, you could have just stuck this show behind closed doors and done it like everyone else has been doing it. That's how I meant that.
It could, but, you know, being an Arsenal fan, being a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching football on the TV, and, yeah, I like to watch Leicester. Leicester's doing great, and they won the FA Cup. But it was so much better with a few fans in. And, you know, we're getting 500 or 600 in tonight, and the atmosphere will be electric. And sport, I think this COVID restriction, what we've had, and I think it just shows how much the public have been taken for granted. And, you know, you get all the corporate side with what's, you know, the big cheeses who are running football clubs. Well, it proves without the fans, football's nothing. And it's same with boxing. Boxing's great. We love boxing. It's in his blood, but we need the fans there. And, you know, I promoted Ricky Hatton, and I'm picking him out because he's probably the most popular kid we've had on these shows for the last few decades. And the fans fueled him, and he fueled the fans. And that's what created the event. That's what created the brand. And it all snowballs like that. So we want to get fans in, and this is the way to do it. I don't want to do behind closed doors events. It doesn't float my boat. I'm not saying I wouldn't do them, but I don't want to do them.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there with the lack of fans that we have had over the last year or so. We have kind of taken that aspect for granted. I think you're very right in saying that. So the fact that you will have fans there tonight at the show enjoying boxing again is just a step forward to hopefully that being the new norm, because we don't even know what the norm is anymore. It's going to be weird to sit in it's going to be weird to actually watch boxing with fans now. It's got to that point.
Yeah, and I feed off that as well, Kugan. You know, when you're going around and you've seen a few faces who I haven't seen for quite a while, and a few personalities who are attracted to boxing, that's one of the things what attracts me to the game as well. So, like I say, I'm not too fussed. I know it's been great that some promoters have put shows on behind closed doors, and it keeps getting the kids work, and I really appreciate it. I think it's great what they've done, but it's not something that I wanted to do, and hence the reason why we've done the marquees, which has been very expensive, may I add, but we're making it work. And if you see the setup what we've created, it's great, and it takes some doing, but you know, we have a pop, and that's what we're having a go here. We're having a go with a channel. We're having a go putting boxing on outside. We've got 6 weeks continuous boxing. When's that ever been done? We've got like a fixture list. It's never been done, Kugan. So not in my lifetime anyway, from what I can remember. So, you know, people know what they're going to, if they want to subscribe to the channel, they know what they're getting. And it's not all random where, oh, one fight comes along, oh, that's going to be on Sky, BT, or whatever, or Channel 5. They're all a bit random. Well, we don't want to be random. We want to be regular and let people see what it says on the tin.
Dennis, let's talk about Fightzone now. So I'll just kind of give you the floor to break down the concept of Fightzone, which kicks off tonight with your show in Sheffield.
Yeah, it's TV on the internet, and I don't know if I'd had this conversation with you, Kugan, about us vying to buy BoxNation, and that was obviously a few months ago, and then obviously Premier Sports have bought into it, but they've got some caveats with it, which we didn't want, but we were told we were the highest bidder. So I got my partners together, and we bid for BoxNation when we heard that it were going to become available. It were going to become available debt-free, but always we were thinking about it needed to be on an OTT platform and not on a linear platform, which is very expensive, and you have to charge over the odds. And plus, this, you know, we don't need chauffeur-driven cars. We don't need people on silly inflated salaries to get a company off the floor. And a lot of people who's working with us, I must say, this is the best team I've ever worked with, even when I've done Ricky Ann, Clinton Woods, or whoever. Everybody's bought into this because they see, I've never had any negative comments, so you might be the first if you come out with one, that everybody's buying into it. They love the concept, and it gives everybody a chance. We're working with all the promoters who wants to work with, who will put their shows on the platform. And at Fight Academy, that's why I'm wearing two hats. We've got an array of dates, so many dates for the year, but that could be going to Steve Wood, it could be going to Sam Kinnock, could be going to Mo Pryor, Carl Greaves. All the promoters up and down the UK are going to be able to have a pop at this and work with us, and us work with them. So this is how boxing should have been years ago, and this is how BoxNation should have been.
Dennis, is it a case of you collabing with these promoters, or could their shows be kind of under the Fightzone banner and they do their own thing on Fightzone?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the two separate entities. So yeah, I've helped create Fightzone with my partners, but Fight Academy is a separate entity. So we'll sit down with anybody if we think there's something that's going to float the channel and enhance it. We want to work with everybody, and that's what's been lacking in boxing for too many years. It's been about Frank and about Eddie for too long, and you know, there's a hole in the market, and we're filling it.
So the monthly cost of this is $4.99.
$4.99. Even KUGAN CASSIUS could put his hand in his pocket and pull up to buy this. This is just over £1 a week. What do you get for £1 a week? You can't even get some Pampers. How much is a Pamper?
I've just been looking now. I think it's around £12 for a pack of 72.
You're doing all right. You must be going to Lidl's or something. But for just over £1, pure entertainment. I'm not saying your little one's not entertainment, but I can see with your eyes, she's starting to get a bit wearing. That's why your mummy's had to come along and bail you out, hasn't she?
Yeah, I've had some help from my mother, correct?
Yeah, exactly. You're a mummy's boy. I suss you out, big lad.
So, I mean, long-term plans for Fightzone. I suppose it's very early days at the moment. You're going to see how things go for the initial few weeks and see how many people you can attract, obviously, to the platform. But, like, long-term goals of Fightzone.
We want to work with everybody and anybody. It's obviously got to work both ways. It's, you know, our motto is everybody can feed from our table. It's not a one-way traffic. It's people like yourself, KUGAN, and everybody has done, who we've spoken to, has enhanced our concept and put it out there and say, look, this is a great concept, gives everybody a chance, from the fledglings right up until, hopefully, world class. And what we'll create here, KUGAN, on this channel, say in a year's time, instead of it just being box rec and looking up records, you'll be able to actually view a lot of these kids, these records, who you want to look for one of your kids. So you don't have to just take a chance with a record, because, as you know, being in the game, somebody who's 2 and 18 sometimes can have a fight, and they come to win, and the record doesn't suggest that. So on our channel, it'll be like a library for you to go and have a look at these kids and say, my kid's not quite ready for that. Kid is a bit too experienced, even though my kid might be 3-0. So there's going to be a lot of different angles what this will work for people in the industry.
So, Dennis, is the idea to put on a minimum show of 1 show a week, like this Friday night aspect?
Yes. We want to put a minimum of 50 shows a year, and Jason's working his guts off to make it happen, and he's lost a few stone, hasn't he, Jace? He's lost 5 stone since he's been with me. Yeah? And by the way, he doesn't have a seat. He's tied to a treadmill when he comes to work. But he's put some great matchups. He's matched 15 shows up already. So that's the sort of work that we're doing. So, look, all we're doing, KUGAN, let's be honest, like when I started in the scrap metal business, there were hundreds of scrap metal people in Sheffield, obviously, because it's the steel city. I went out and had a pop, and I made a success of it. Now, we're having a go, but on this score, everybody can benefit, and that's the difference. It's not just about me and Fight Academy. It's about sitting around a table and working together and coming to some compromises and giving somebody else a piece of the pie. And like I keep saying, that's how BoxNation could have been, and that's how BoxNation would have survived. And I'm hoping that's why we'll survive. People's got to buy into it.
Well, listen, we look forward to the kickoff event tonight. What time is the first fight, Dennis?
5:30.
5:30.
And obviously, rain pending. We've got a big canopy and cagoules and everything. But you know the British weather. When you buy a ticket for Glastonbury for £100, sometimes you have to pack your wellies, don't you? So that's how it works. So And so we expect that, but there's going to be some great food on, fish, chips and peas, and great pie and peas and all done by northern people. Not that crappy southern rubbish what you get down here. We have Henderson's relish for putting on as pie and peas. Come up and sample the goods up here. It's not all about down south. Get yourself up here.
All right. Well, listen, Dennis, wish you the best of luck with tonight's show.
By the way, I love you, Southerners. I'm only kidding. You know that, don't you?
We know. Just one final one then before we go. Any updates on working with Dave Allen? How's that all going?
Dave will be there tonight.
Yeah.
He'll be doing a bit of punditry. Dave, I haven't really said a lot to him, but let me just show you. Look at what about this. This is the first gown I had made for him.
Wow.
Right? I have my little chat to him because we're pals anyway.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed he's just starting to live right. Not saying 100%, but he's just starting to try and do the right thing. And part of that is I think he's looking after a few lads he's bringing on. And I think he's thinking, hold on a minute, I've got to be an example to these kids. So I think he might surprise a few. I think he's starting to get that little bit between his teeth. We're not going to rush him. I'm not going to say you've got to go in a big fight, Dave. He's like managing himself with me. And he's saying how he feels, what kind of fights he wants. And then when he says, yeah, let's go and have a pop, then we'll do it. And we'll make something happen big because he's such a popular kid. Apart from Tyson and Joshua, I think he's the most popular heavyweight out there. He's an Anthony Crawler type kid. He's just such a popular kid. And he's so accommodating with anybody who comes up to him. So I think there's still plenty of mileage in Dave, but I just think he took fights at late notice. Not anybody else's fault. I'm not saying it's anybody else's fault, but I wouldn't have let him get involved in some of the fights that he was involved in. I know he were earning good money, but I think they were took at the wrong time. It proved how tough he was, but I don't want him to prove how tough he is. There's a lot more to Dave Allen than being just tough.
I think one of the concerns when he announced his retirement was him talking about where his head was at. So how would you describe that side of him, his mental state?
He seems a lot more relaxed. Seems happier in his own skin. I think he thinks he's got a bit of focus and in his life. We're going to get him on the channel as much as he wants to be on. So he feels part of something. He knows we're friends anyway, and I'll give him any advice I can. And if he wants to go all the way, if some of these kids that he's going to manage are capable of going all the way, I'll advise him and help him. And we've got Jason who's doing the same. So he's got a great team round him. Yeah. So really, he's got something to focus on. And I love having him round anyway. It's good fun. And he's well respected, isn't he? So he brings a lot to the table. And I think he'll attract one or two good kids. When he gets one or two kids winning, like I'm sure he will, I think he's going to get offers to train and manage one or two more. So if he wants me to help him with Jason and our team, you know, we've got a smashing team here on the marketing and everything. So when you get time off from being a big daddy, you can come up here and sample what's happening up here. There's almost a revolution up here. So get yourself up here. It doesn't rain all the time. The sun shines sometimes. And you get up here and you'll add to the entertainment, KUGAN, because you always add value when you're here.
All right. As long as I can stay at your house, no problem.
You can stay at my house. I'll move out into the annex. What about that? Bring your baby up to my house. My babies will love her. My babies love kids.
All right. Well, listen, you're literally hours away, so I'm going to go and get this out now. And yeah, wish you the best of luck. And we'll try and have a kind of reflection on it after the weekend, if you like. Yeah,
it'd be great. But KUGAN, don't be a stranger. I love to see you, pal, anyway. So when you can get up, and I'm serious, bring your missus up. My missus will make you welcome, I promise you.
Thank you very much. Dennis Hobson, appreciate your time. Best of luck again with the show tonight. And like I said, we'll catch up with you after the weekend and you can reflect on tonight.
Get some kit while your mum's out.
Top man. Thank you very much.
KUGAN.
Top man.
Bye, pal.